Sometimes life gives us storms not to destroy us but to show us how strong we truly are. This is the story of Ava, a small-town girl who turned her pain into purpose, and of Ethan, a brave volunteer who taught everyone what it means to never give up. Together, they built something far greater than a bridge. They built hope. The sun had just started rising over the quiet village of Riverfield. The air was fresh, carrying the scent of wet earth after last night's rain. Children walked to school in groups, laughing and jumping over puddles. But Ava sat silently near the broken wooden bridge, her eyes fixed on the calm river. That bridge once connected two parts of the village. Now, after the flood, it stood half-broken, just like Ava's heart. A year ago, her father, Mr. Parker, had died trying to save a boy during a heavy storm. He was the village's most respected teacher, loved by everyone for his kindness. Since then, Ava had stopped smiling. He was more than a father, she often said softly. He was my best friend. Her mother worked in a small bakery, and though life was simple, it wasn't easy. Yet, Ava always helped, baking, cleaning, and tutoring little children in English. She wanted to keep her father's dream alive, to educate every child in Riverfield. A hero appears. One morning, the villagers gathered near the river. A young man arrived wearing a volunteer vest that said "Rebuild Together Project." His name was Ethan Carter. He was in his late 20s, tall, and had a calm but determined face. "We're here to rebuild your bridge," he announced. "But more than that, we're here to rebuild lives." Ava looked at him curiously. She had heard of the organization. They traveled across small towns, helping communities recover after disasters. What surprised her was his way of speaking, simple, sincere, and full of hope. Ava's change. Days passed. Ava watched Ethan and his team working from morning till evening. They didn't just build with wood and iron, they built with laughter and teamwork. Ethan often said, "Rome wasn't built in a day, but kindness can start any day." One afternoon, Ethan saw Ava sitting under a tree, reading an old English grammar book. "You like English?" he asked. "Yes," she smiled shyly. "I teach some village kids. It helps them dream bigger." "That's brilliant," Ethan replied. "You've got the heart of a teacher. Keep it up, hard work always pays off." It was the first time someone had appreciated her since her father's death. Those words touched her deeply. When storms return, a week later, dark clouds covered the sky again. Heavy rain poured down, and the unfinished bridge began to shake. The villagers panicked. Ethan and his team rushed to secure the ropes, but the water level rose dangerously. Suddenly, they heard a child crying. A small boy, Sam, was stuck on the far side of the river, holding a wooden pole. The current was too strong. Without a second thought, Ethan jumped into the water. "No. It's too dangerous." Ava shouted, but he didn't stop. He fought the strong waves and reached Sam, holding him tightly as they struggled to return. The villagers threw ropes, trying to help. After several tense minutes, Ethan pulled the boy safely to the shore, but he himself collapsed, exhausted. Ava ran to him, trembling. "You could have died," she cried. Ethan smiled weakly. "Heroes don't think about dying, Ava. They think about saving." Healing hearts. The next morning, the storm was gone, and sunlight returned. Ethan was resting in the village clinic, his arm bandaged. Ava brought him soup. "You risked your life for that boy," she said softly. "Anyone would have done the same," he replied. "No, not everyone," she whispered. "You remind me of my father." From that day, Ava joined the rebuilding project as a volunteer. She carried bricks, painted signs, and motivated children. Her shy nature slowly faded, replaced by confidence. Ethan guided her, teaching her how leadership begins with empathy. The Bridge of Hope. After 2 months, the bridge stood tall again, stronger, safer, and more beautiful. The villagers named it the Bridge of Hope in memory of Mr. Parker and in honor of Ethan's bravery. During the opening ceremony, Ava gave a short speech. Her voice trembled at first, but she looked around and smiled. "My father once said, 'Education builds bridges between hearts.' Today, I've learned that courage builds bridges between lives. Thank you, everyone, for believing in hope." The crowd clapped loudly. Ethan stood beside her, proud. He whispered, "Your father would be proud too, Ava." A farewell to remember. Soon, Ethan's project team had to move to another town. The night before he left, he met Ava near the bridge. The moonlight reflected on the calm river. "You've changed this place, Ethan," she said. "No," he replied gently. "You changed it. I just reminded you how strong you already were." They stood there in silence, feeling the peace they had both fought for. When Ethan finally walked away, Ava didn't cry. She just smiled, holding her father's old diary close to her heart. A new beginning. Years passed. Ava became an English teacher at the same school her father once taught. Every day, she crossed the Bridge of Hope, remembering the people who helped rebuild her life. Sometimes, she would tell her students, "The bridge outside is not just made of wood and stone. It's made of kindness, courage, and love." And the children would listen, eyes wide, hearts full, because in Riverfield, hope wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. The Bridge of Hope reminds us that even the smallest act of courage can rebuild broken lives. Sometimes we don't need superheroes, we just need people who care. In life, the real bridge is not the one we walk on, it's the one we build inside our hearts.